You're watching Women of Strength TV with a purpose-driven woman who has a yearning deep in her soul to serve the world. Presented to you by Ange Wilcock, creator of Evolutionary Model of Well-Being, Mindfulness-Based Storytelling, and the Raw Woman Project, a businesswoman on a mission for every human on the earth to feel enough.
So welcome to another incredible episode of Women of Strength TV and Women of Strength podcast. And I've got another amazing woman today who I know has got an incredible story. And her name is Lynda West. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Lynda at the moment. But I love Lynda. I met Lynda, probably a couple of years ago, I think, through a mutual mentor of ours. And I've just watched her journey, and she's just absolutely flying, and I'm sure that she'll tell you about that journey. So welcome, Lynda.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and hope the words come out of my mouth that embody what you just said about me.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Now I'm just going to read you Lynda's bio, and it's pretty impressive. And like I said, I've had an opportunity for the last couple of years to watch this journey, and I'm in awe of Lynda. It's sort of like sometimes, you know, when you have this person that you think, oh, I wish I had the confidence that Lynda's got to do what she does, because she just knows her stuff. She's incredible online, and she is amazing, and I feel so honored to have her as my guest. But anyway, Lynda is known as the Oprah of San Diego, and I would say that is so true. She's interviewed more than 200 people on her show, Living Live TV. She's a master connector, best-selling author of The Year of Fears, creator of the Finishit Fast program, where she turns procrastinators into actionators, and the Facebook Live Queen, because she's done over 2,700 Facebook Live videos. She does a happy birthday for people every day. It's incredible. And in 2015, she embarked on a journey of facing at least one fear every day, hence The Year of Fears, her book. During her journey, she met people ranking from Frank Shanks, no, I'm going to say that wrong anyway, but he's a creator and the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Ron Klein, the inventor of the credit card magnetic strip. Brian Smith, the founder of Ugg Boots, who's in Australasia. Well, I assume he is, because Ugg Boots are Australian. Jean Landrum, the creator of everyone's favorite Mag's Chuck E. Cheese, and many others. And in addition, she's interviewed stars on the red carpet at the Academy Awards after party and City Gala. And like, you will often, if you're friends with Lynda, she may not have any room for friends on her Facebook page anymore, I don't know, but she's always interviewing these incredible people. So welcome, Lynda, because I just so want to know. I know a little bit about your journey, but not a lot. So let's have a conversation around you stepping into that woman of strength. You know, where did that journey start for you?
Oh, well, first, thank you so much, Ange, for having me on your show. And, you know, Women of Strength, it's so important. And as you were speaking, it just made me remember back to my childhood. And what's interesting is the strength that we have is within us, but we often don't recognize it. So, for example, it wasn't until I was about 53, 54 years old that I realized that I was actually strong as a child, but I didn't know it. So just really quickly, you know, I ran away when I was 5 years old, and I was gone for an entire week. So I hear people, you know, I ran away, but they're like, you were gone an entire week? Yes, I was. I was gone an entire week. And they're like, where did you run away to? Well, you know, it was just the neighbors. But at 5 years old, that's quite a distance, you know? Yeah. So the thing is that like the reason that's important in this message that we're talking about today is I was strong at 5 years old to run away for an entire week. But I didn't see it as strength, because really when I was 5, I was living in a lifestyle. My dad was very abusive, alcoholic, raging alcoholic. And I was living in this household where there was a lot of fear. So actually, in my mind, I was running away. I was just running away. because I was scared. I was running away. I was fearful of my life. And that's why I ran away. So I didn't see it as strength. I saw it as necessity.
Yeah,
So
but it takes courage though, doesn't it? Like, it even does take courage. Like you said, looking back on that, it did take,
yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because, like I said, it took me till I was about 53 or 54 years old to realize that I've been strong all along. I just never knew I was strong, which means I never stepped into it and said, I'm strong, I'm doing this because I'm strong. Most of the things I did in my life were because I was fearful and I was always running away. So another example is when I was 21, I had 2 kids, ages 4 weeks and 14 months. And I walked out on my currently he's my ex-husband, but I walked out on him with 2 babies on my hips with a diaper bag and a purse. Again, another strong move, like, whoa, it takes strength, it takes courage to do that. But I didn't see myself as strong. I didn't see that as courage. I saw it as self-preservation at that time. But now today, I can look back and say, oh my God, look how strong I was. And I didn't realize it because I was living in desperation and fear, victimizing myself. And I was living my life in those terms. Whereas now when I do the things that I do, that some people are like, oh my God, how did you do that? That's so amazing. I would never do that. I say, you know what? It's because I have this strength. So it's just a different place that I'm in today to recognize the strength that I have. So I would urge, anybody watching this to think back through your past and look at the things that you've done and give yourself credit for the amazingness that you've done and what you've done for your life. And then start to recognize the things you're doing today and how amazing you are. Because once you recognize how incredible you are, how amazing you are, you can start to live your life as that amazing person on purpose. And it really changes the whole way you're living your life and who you are being on a daily basis.
And it's so true, because there's so much power in our story. And yet, we're sort of conditioned that when things go wrong, it's failure, or, we're not successful. And yet there's so much success in all the lessons that we've learned. Like you said, at 5 years old, you started to realize around self-preservation. How do I get myself out of a situation that's fearful? I'm afraid. But at 5, you didn't realize that. But looking back on it, you can go, wow, I was so strong. And so, I really agree with that. Encourage people to, if you're listening or watching this, look back on your story and find all those points in time where you were courageous, where you were strong, where if you told your story today, like Lynda was saying, people would go, wow, I would never do that. Because you can see the strength in who you are and show up for yourself. Because that's what I've seen you do, Lynda. Like, you just go from literally strength to strength.
Well, a lot of it was through, I hired a life coach. First of all, what really started my journey of growth as discovering who I am was I was 51 years old, and I hired a life coach. And she asked me the right questions on the right days. And I love to tell people I hated her, literally on a weekly basis, she would ask me tough questions. But those tough questions were necessary for me to be able to grow. And the thing that I realized, and I have to give myself some credit too, because she always says, I don't get the credit here. You do, because you actually opened your mind and you looked at all the questions I asked you and were willing to change. And so it really takes a willingness to be able to look at yourself. And I honestly believe we can't do that ourselves. Yeah. So, I have coaches, like still to this day, I have coaches, I have mentors. I don't have life coach anymore right now, but I will probably hire one, probably next year sometime, because I'm seeing where I'm up-leveling myself and up-leveling, but there's probably still some inner work I need to do. I don't know if we ever stop.
No, and I mean, there's so much value in that too, because I do the same. I've got coaches, mentors, and that I invest in, and people go, "Why do you keep investing in yourself? You know, why do you keep going away and doing things? Why do you go on to retreats? Why do you join these courses?" And I always say, because I want to be the best version of me. I want to live my life to the full, and it feels full right now, but it felt full 2 years ago. But now when I look at it now, it's like, oh my God, it's so big now. And then, you know, you think, what's it going to be like in 12 months' time? And it excites me to find out more about me. And I'm sure it, you know, it does you too. So yeah, encourage anyone to get a life coach, a mentor, because we can ask ourselves those tough questions. Or if we do, we can ask them, but we won't get the right answer because the ego comes in, doesn't it? You know, the self-preservation and everything else. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny that, when my life coach would ask me questions, she would ask me a question, then she would just be quiet. And it was like the most uncomfortable silence ever, because I knew she was not going to speak until I said something, you know? So I'd be like, are you waiting for me to say something? She'd be like, yes. Because she wanted me to think. Like she knew that I needed that space to actually like think out what it is, like whatever it was that I was dealing with at the time, you know. So I worked through so many different things, whether it was, you know, childhood things, you know, things about my mom, things about my dad, things about my siblings, things about my coworkers. You know, I had so many things that were blocking my personal growth. And once she helped me to peel away all these different blockages, then that's when I started soaring. And I'm going to continue to soar. And just like you, I like every day I ask myself, what can I do today that will make me a better person than I was yesterday? You know, just every day. It's incremental. Like, what can I do different today that will make me a better person than I was yesterday? And then just keep growing from there, you know? It's unlimited.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not about doing things for other people. Sometimes it's actually about doing things for ourselves, isn't it? Especially when we're, you know, we've been people pleasers and it's all about pleasing everyone else. We've lost sight of ourselves. And then when we do that inner work, we actually, you know, realize that little thing that we might do every day to show up better can be something for us rather than something, you know, for someone else. And I think, I mean, a lot of women, I don't know about you, but I grew up, you know, thinking that if I have to do something for me before someone else, it's so selfish. And of course it's not, but we do, you know, we're so conditioned to believe that. And I always say to my clients or friends of mine, you know, when they go, oh, but you just do so much for yourself, don't you feel selfish? And I go, no. I said, you know, a constant reminder is, you know, when you're on the airplane, isn't it? You know, that whole thing about when the oxygen mask falls down, what do they tell you? Put it on yourself first before you put it on your child. And people go, oh gosh, I couldn't do that. And I go, well, you'd kill your child then, or kill yourself, because you've got to look after you first before you can do anything for anyone else. And it is, you know, so when I fly, it's like, for me, it's that constant reminder. It's like, oh yeah, I've forgotten about me this week, so I need to be doing that. Cool.
Yeah. And, you know, a good thing to that point there is that something I started instituting for myself, you know, during this journey. And this journey just started 4 years ago. You know, I'm 55 years old. So this has just been 4 years in the works. And one thing I started doing was patting myself on the back. Yeah. You know, because how often do we not give ourselves credit for the stuff we do? And so what I like to do is at the end of every month, I will look back and I'll say, wow, I did this and that and this and that. Great job, Lynda. I mean, look at all the stuff you've done. Look at all the progress you've made. Look at all the people you connected. You know, I give myself credit because no one else is, you know? So it's some people like, well, that's kind of self-serving, isn't it? Well, you know what? Yes, it is. Because if I can be a better person tomorrow and the next day and the next day, then how many more people am I going to help?
Yep.
So just like you said, like with the oxygen mask thing, you know, so it's the same thing. If I'm a better person, like I get message after message after message from people telling me how, you know, just the thing I did today, you know, inspired them to do something. Yeah. So, and if I didn't give myself credit for all of that stuff that I'm doing, then why should I keep doing it? You know, I feel good. I feel really good about what I'm doing. Yeah. And all of this is from having the the confidence that I've gained through having the life coach. I wasn't like this before, Ange. Not at all.
No, I know.
Nowhere near.
No, and I love it, and I think what inspires me about you is that, you know, you said you've just been on this journey for 4 years, but the growth has been huge. I mean, I remember watching on your Facebook page, because what you'll find about Lynda, if you go to her Facebook page, is that she's so honest and so authentic, and she'll do live videos about how she's feeling and what's coming up for her and some of the limiting beliefs, and you just see it. I mean, you're so open and honest, and it's so refreshing. And to think, just to see how far it's come in 4 years, because it was Lynda that encouraged me. So I hate doing Facebook Lives, and I must say I'm a little bit better at it, but it's not something, I mean, I can talk to anyone having a conversation. I can talk to anyone doing this, a two-way thing. But when I'm in front of a camera just talking to no one, my mind just goes, woo. What Lynda says all the time is, the more you do it, practice, practice, practice. And she is an absolute natural at it. So I think, you know, for any of you out there listening to this who's building a business, or you've all got a wonderful message to say, just go over to Lynda's Facebook page and you'll see that. And the content is massive, because I think that some of the stuff that I mean, certainly myself, it's like, well, what do I talk about? But Lynda talks about anything and everything.
Anything.
And there's always incredible messages in it. So,
oh, thank you.
And is that something that's just happened over the 4 years, Lynda, or is that something you've been natural at in normal conversations with people, but you've just transferred that skill?
No, that is not natural for me.
Right.
And it's always funny to me when people say, you're just a natural at it. Well, I'm a trained natural, you know, because it took me at least when I first started doing videos. I've done over 4,000 videos in the last 4.5 years. When I first started doing videos, it was because a young man that I know has cerebral palsy, and he asked me if I would do a video for him every day. And I was like, I can't say no to him. So I said yes. And that's what started the whole thing. But the very, very first video I did was it was before Facebook Live was even out there. So I had to record the video on a camera, because I didn't even know my phone had a camera on it, you know. So I recorded this video and I was like, hi, Ryan, it's Lynda. You know, here's the video I promised you. Like, that was my first video, because I was terrified to say just that, just those words. See, I grew up in the alcoholic household. My first husband told me I was stupid and ignorant, and people are only nice to you because they feel sorry for you. Well, what that did to me, you know, is that made me think I was stupid and ignorant, and that people were only nice to me because they felt sorry for me. Unfortunately, I held on to that story, his story for me, for decades. I held on to it for so long until I met my life coach, and she's the one who helped me through that. But the point on that is that when I did videos at the beginning, the first 6 months, I was terrified, and I was doing them every day, and I was terrified. So even for 6 full months, terrified to do them, because what if people catch on to me? What if people see how stupid and ignorant I am? You know, so that's what was playing through my head every time I hit that button. Now that I've been, you know, worked through realizing that I'm not ignorant and stupid, realizing that I'm actually a smart person, I have a lot of value. And this all, again, was through working with somebody. This was not something I discovered on my own, but this really helped me to put myself out there and be confident to put myself out there. And I'll share with you the very moment that I realized, like, I actually said, oh my God, I'm actually smart. I remember it well. I was attending a workshop, and it was like a 2-hour workshop or something, and there were 12 women in the room, and we were sitting at this conference table, like a oval conference table. And the person putting on the workshop, she asked a question, and for the first time in my life, my hand went up, because I was always scared to say anything, because I didn't want people to catch on to how stupid I was. So my hand went up, and I answered. And my hand went up and I stood up, which was weird too, because I don't like to stand up in front of people because I get very nervous, you know. And so then I sat down, and I was shaking. My stomach was going crazy. My throat was just like going like this, and I was shaking like this. And there were 2 women sitting next to me, and both of them turned to me and said, "That was amazing. Can you repeat it? I want to write it down."
Wow.
And that exact, like, I remember that moment as if it was yesterday. It was 4 years, just about 4 years ago. And I remember it because I don't know what I said or anything. All I remember is my mind then went up into the clouds, right? And it said, you are brilliant. You are smart. You must speak every opportunity you have from this point forward, because there's somebody out there who needs to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Those were my words to myself in that moment. And I'll never forget.
Oh, it's funny. I got goosebumps.
Yeah. It literally changed me.
Yeah.
That one moment where those women pointed out to me, in my words, what I heard was, you're not stupid. You're not ignorant. People are nice to you because they like you.
Yeah.
Not because they feel sorry for you. And so that one moment erased all those decades, because literally it was 30 something years that I carried that tape around with me.
That's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Since then, I raise my hand all the time. I sit in the front of the room. I used to be at the back of the roomer. I never wanted to speak. When I went to networking events, I hated it when they go around and have you introduce yourself. Like, I didn't even want to say my name out loud, because what if I said it wrong? What if I couldn't say my name? Like, I had so much fear about just saying anything at all. But now, like, I sit in the front of the room, I raise my hand, I speak every opportunity, I do videos, I get interviews, I do speaking on stage, interviewing stars on the red carpet. I mean, oh my gosh.
How do you do that? Do you just go up to them? Because so if you go to Lynda's Facebook page, all of a sudden there's a live come up and she's interviewing someone famous. So I'm thinking, how does she do that?
Well, that all started, is interesting. I happen to know the organizer. I didn't know very well. I should, say that, but like, I met them. I met the organizer of that event that puts on it's an after party for the Oscars, the Academy Awards. Yeah. And so stars come, like, we had, Matthew McConaughey, we had, who was it we had last time? Randy Jackson from American Idol. I interviewed him, and so I just reached out, and I was scared. Again, I have a lot of fears, Yeah. So I reached out and I said, hey, can I be a live video correspondent on the red carpet? And he shot back an answer, and it was yes. That was it. Just the word yes.
Whoa.
And I was like, that's all it took was for me to ask?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I asked, and it was interesting because I was talking to my mentor about it. His name's Greg. And I was like, I want to bring a videographer with me, because I'm thinking I'm going to be on this red carpet, and there's going to be all these cameras and fancy people with, microphones and all this. I'm going to have my phone, really? Like, I'm going to just have my phone. So I was like, I want to have a videographer there, and I want to do like all fancy, have a microphone and everything, just like everybody else. And so I reached out to my mentor and I said, I want to have a videographer there with me on the red carpet, but I don't know how to ask if I can bring one. So sorry for the airplane flying overhead. And so my mentor was like, what are you talking about? And I said, I want to have a videographer with me, and I don't know how to ask them if I can bring one. And he goes, are you kidding me now? Are you kidding me right now? Because he's really hard on me. And he says, they're going to have 100 feet of red carpet. That red carpet, every single inch of it has to have videographers or camera people, because they need to make it look much bigger than it really is. And those stars walking down that red carpet need to be interviewed and have their pictures taken by a lot of people. You're doing them a favor by having a videographer. I'm like, oh, totally flipped my mind. And I'm like, look at it from their perspective.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. So now, it's like your question, now when I go into these, like asking people for interviews, I realize that I'm helping them as well. This is not about me interviewing stars. This is not about me. I mean, I had Les Brown, interviewing Jack Canfield.
I know.
I know. And I'm looking like, what the heck? How did this happen? But it happened because I asked. Yeah. It's all because I asked. So that's like the bottom line to that whole thing, is just asking. Now, here's the thing that's really, really interesting, Ange, because mindset, right? Mindset.
Yep.
What happened was the interchange went like this. Can I do a live video on the red carpet? Yes. Can I bring a videographer? Yes. Okay, put them on the press list. Yes. Me and my videographer, we got to the event, and there we were. And I think the first interview I was a little bit nervous, but after that it was like, I belong here. Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we left that night, I said, I expect to be on red carpets from this point forward.
Brilliant. Love it.
So it's just a total, it's all in our mind. All of this. Our lack of success is because we're not willing to take the action that it takes to be successful. Those who are successful are willing to fail. As you said, fail. Here's a new acronym for you. FAIL stands for effing up always inspires learning.
Yes. Yeah.
Every time we fail, every time we make a mistake, we have an opportunity to learn from it. It's our job to learn from it. What can you learn from that mistake? Then move forward and stop looking at the failure as a failure. Look at it as the opportunity to do something different, to change everything.
Yeah, and that's what I do, the acronym around fear, rather than, false evidence appearing real, I just go, fuck it and rise. It's like, fuck everything and rise. That's because that's what it is, isn't it? It's like, well, rise above the fear, rise above yourself, rise above the limiting belief. And I so connected that, because that just a light bulb went on in my head when you were talking about the red carpet, and that event. Because when I made a decision about doing the Woman of Strength podcast and TV, I was thinking, well, who would want to be interviewed by me? Like, I'm no one. Who am I out in this big wide world of all these incredible, inspirational female entrepreneurs? As soon as I asked, like, I've got waiting lists right to the middle of next year. I've got this queue of people. And I'm like, wow. And it's what you said. It's you're doing them a favor. You're supporting them because, everyone has got incredible stories to tell, whether you're an actress, an actor, whether you're famous or not, it's irrelevant. People love people's stories, whether it's walking down the red carpet, whether it's telling it like we're doing now, whatever it is. And when we flip that and go, do you know what? It's a win-win for everyone. It does. It changes that. So.
Right. And so now this point forward, right, it's easy for you to ask and you realize why people want to be on your show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share with you my acronym for fear, because I know what was it they say? What was it again? They who they is.
Well,
they
false evidence appearing real, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's faith erases anxious reactions, because what I realized, so that you alluded to this in my bio, in 2015, I faced a fear every single day because I realized I had to do something different in my life. I worked with a life coach in 2014. She helped me to open my mind. And now I was like, now what can I do different? Because I want to make sure that I keep growing. So I decided to face a fear every single day. During my time of facing those fears, what I realized is I wasn't really nervous to face the fears when I tapped into my faith. And so I would say, I have faith that this is the thing I'm supposed to be doing. And because I had faith, my anxious reactions were erased. So faith erases anxious reactions. So I tell people who are scared to do things, what you need to do is to tap into the faith that you have, whatever your faith is. Tap into it and say, oh my gosh, this is the thing that's going to help me progress in whatever my trajectory is. So if you know your purpose here, your why you're here on earth, if you know that, tap into that. So I every day would tap in and say, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it. And so that would erase the fear and make it so that I could do whatever it was. Now it doesn't erase every time, but it will dissipate. And isn't that enough, So now my whole thing is that, oh, I'm having a fear about whatever it is. I'm having a fearful reaction right now. So I'm going to do it because I'm scared. And it just changes the way I think,
Yeah, incredible. So what's next for Lynda? What's your next big fear that you're going to just crash through?
Well, it's interesting because I don't want to say I don't have fears anymore, but I can honestly say that fears don't stop me and they don't scare me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. It's like, it's a fear though. How can it not scare you? Well, it's because of the way I do them. It's like, oh, it's just fear. Oh, that's just fear.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it anyway because it just makes it a lot easier for me to do things that I'm scared to do. And so as far as fearful, so what I have planned for 2019, one of the things is me interviewing stars on the red carpet at the Emmys, the Grammys, and the Oscars, as well as the Mammoth. There's a Mammoth Film Festival coming up, and I'm actually on the red carpet on that one because I asked. I happened to run into somebody on LinkedIn, and I found out that they do this red carpet event at Mammoth, and I said, hey, can I be on the red carpet? And he said, I'll ask the organizer. Like, I didn't know the organizer, and they said yes.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because there is always a 50% chance, because people go, oh, I'm not going to ask because they're likely to say no. It's like, it's a 50% chance. There's only, it's 50%. Because the other 50%
no if you don't ask.
Yes, exactly. It's 100% if you don't ask, but it's only 50% possibility if you do.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is I tell people, don't decide for them. Don't decide for them. Oh, they're too busy. People say that all the time. Oh, they're too busy. They won't have time for me. Here's the reality. One of my mentors says this all the time. The most successful people are the most available people. Yeah. And the reason for that is because people are scared to reach out to them. So they have all this free time because people are scared to reach out to them. So just that one phrase right there has helped me. Like, that's like, I get on the phone and like I called Jack Canfield, and it's like, and I called Les Brown. And one time it's funny, Les Brown, and for those who don't know, he's an international motivational speaker, absolutely amazing.
He's incredible. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So one day I was doing a live video and I got this call, and it was like, Les Brown is calling me. I'm like, sorry, I gotta go, you guys. Les Brown is calling me. I had no idea why he was calling me, I was like, hey, Les, it's Lynda, what's going on? But this wouldn't have happened had I decided for Les that I wasn't available for him, or if I had decided that he wasn't available for me. I just what I meant. Yeah. And so it's interesting that when we reach out to those who are influential, that a lot of times they will be available, because a lot of times they went through what you're going through.
Yeah.
Like Les Brown, he was an orphan. He didn't have the best life. He slept on the floor. So he didn't have the best life. So he's gone through all this. Yeah.
I've got all these bing, 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 bings going on in my head. I'm like, whoa! Right now, I've already got this new list.
Yes.
A new list of guests. It's like, because it's so true. I hadn't even thought of that. So thank you, my darling, because that is beautiful. Welcome. That's my learning from this interview, because I hadn't given that a thought, because there's people that I thought I would love to interview them, but they're too famous. I'll be too busy, who am I type of thing. But yeah, you're so right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Such a gem.
You're welcome.
Incredible.
I gave you that permission, right? Now give yourself permission.
I know.
Okay. There was an event I attended. Actually, how I interviewed Randy Jackson. He again was at the red carpet event, and so it was Randy Jackson from American Idol. So what happened was that there people were going to be doing the interviews on the red carpet. I was one of those, and they said, "Hey, we're going to make sure you interview Randy Jackson because we want you to ask him this specific question." And I was like, "Okay." So they made sure he came over to me, and all of that was because I've been a nice person. I've been available. I've been of service, like always being of service to others. That was, and actually that's how Les Brown, I had an opportunity to sit with Les Brown for a couple hours, him asking me about my life, like who I am and what I'm all about. He wanted to know. And that all happened because I was helping him with stuff because he was attending an event we were doing. And he called me up one day and he said, "Lynda, when I'm in town, you make sure that you block out a couple hours to be with me, because I'm going to share with you how you can leverage my name."
Wow.
He said, you are such a great servant leader. Yeah. I want to make sure that you receive. And how often do we not receive the gifts that people send to us? So whether it's opening the door, whether it's buying dinner for us, whether it's, pumping our gas, whatever it is, there's so many things that people offer to us and we go, "Oh no, I got it." Especially we women in this women's lib thing, it's like, "No, I got it." Well, what if you were just a human and you didn't see that as a man and you as a woman? What if you saw that as a human being who wants to give you a gift, and you as a human being who says, you know what, I accept your gift. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Ever since I started doing that, accepting these gifts, you know, it just has opened up so many possibilities for me. Because I accept those gifts. You know, my mentor, he's like, anything you want to go to that I'm going to, you can go for free as my guest.
Wow.
You think I jumped on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? He said he's offered that to so many people, and I'm the only one who's taken him up on it.
Wow. Yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because I always look at it. I always say to people, you know, when someone offers me something, I always say yes, always, because I feel like it's like you're pushing something back in their face, isn't it? When someone gives you a gift, it's like saying, I don't want it. No, thanks. You know, and it's like, because if someone gave you a physical gift and they said, you know, and they've put their heart and soul into choosing it or offering it, and then you say, oh, sorry, no, you would never go, no, I don't want it. You would go, thank you. But but when people offer like their time or, you know, something that's not a physical thing, then we're like, oh no, because we feel, well, I don't know about you, but I used to feel that, you know, oh no, it's you know, it's an imposition for them. They're just saying that, you know, they don't really want to offer it to me. They're just saying it because they don't know what else to say. And of course, it's all bullshit. It's not real, but yeah.
And even if it is, shame on them for offering it if they don't mean it.
Yes, absolutely. But most people don't. I mean, most people do offer things, you know, genuinely. You know, what one would hope. I have that faith in the human spirit that people do offer things genuinely. And like you said, and if they don't, well, then they've got to fulfill it. So
and there are those people out there, yes, that only offer because they want something in return. You know, but it's really hard to vet out who is who and who's doing what. And you know, that's the thing. It's like I live my life in service of others because I think it was Jim Rohn. I always get the names wrong, but I think it was Jim Rohn who said, "You will get what you want if you help enough people get what they want."
Yeah.
So, and part of that is in receiving. It's not only giving the gift, but then receiving the gift that they give you in return. You know. So it's like honor people's gifts, because the thing is that the more often, I always like to turn it. If I offer a gift to somebody and they take it, I am so glad. Like, I'm so excited that they took that gift that I gave them. So flip it around, right? If somebody's offering me a gift and I turn it away and I'm like, no, do you think that they're going to want to offer me a gift later? Probably not. So just receive those gifts, especially the time gift, because time is the only thing we'll never, ever, ever get back. It's the most precious gift we can give to anybody, because I can buy a gift over and over and over again. If you lose it, if you throw it away, if you regift it, I can buy you another, the same thing, just to see if you lose it or regift it. But time,
no.
Nope. Yeah, exactly.
I've loved this. This has been incredible. And we've come to the end of our time. So I know it goes so quickly. But one thing that I would love, and you've given away so many incredible gems, but if there's one thing, you know, that you would say to the incredible women that are watching and listening to this, if there's one gem that you can leave them in terms of stepping up and, you know, and being that incredible woman of strength, what would that gem be?
I would say recognize the fact that you're going through whatever you're going through right now, and then reach out for help. But don't reach out to friends and family. Reach out to somebody who can actually help. And you might be saying, you know what, I can't afford this. Oh, hold on.
Whoa.
Calling me. Yeah, somebody was calling me. I don't know how that happened. Sorry about that. But you might be saying something like, you know what, I can't afford this. And I would caution you to instead ask yourself, how can I afford it? Because oftentimes when we ask ourselves, how can I do something? Our brain searches for the answer. To answer that question, something will happen where money will appear out of nowhere. Money you didn't expect. So find somebody who can help you to up-level yourself, can help you break through whatever fears you might be experiencing, because a lot of times it's due to fear that we don't progress. So just put yourself out there and know that you are an amazing human. Every single person here was put here for a purpose, and you just need to figure out what your purpose is and live that purpose on a daily basis.
Brilliant. Thank you so, so much. And I've just so enjoyed this. And I'll make sure for all our listeners and viewers that all the links that you can make contact and follow Lynda will be below this recording, because
awesome.
She's incredible. She's amazing. I love her to bits. She is absolutely incredible. So thank you, Lynda. And we'll just be watching you on the next part of this journey and doing your red carpet stuff. How exciting.
Yes, I'm loving it. And that's just a passion thing. I don't even make any money doing that.
But, you know, when we do what we love to do, you know what happens, isn't it? So
yeah,
that's the key to it all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ange. Really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Remain real, authentic, and whole. Be yourself and continue to follow your dreams. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Woman of Strength TV.